too, because who doesn't like Star Wars? There'll be someone somewhere. There's a recap of the first game, just in case you've forgotten, and oh goody, another game with arachnophobia mode. I'm not bemoaning the inclusion of arachnophobia mode, I'm bemoaning the fact that it's needed.
Not ready for this. No man up! I can't stop it! How? We can catch him! We'll be around it. Assert your dominance. Stay back. Just...
This is essentially a Souls game at its core, but don't go thinking it comes with Souls difficulty, because it actually has 5 difficulty settings. So you can't get the crap kicked out of you unless you want it to happen, which some people want it to happen. I think you're weird. Now be honest, the main reason you're here is to cut things in half with a laser sword. Well, the new Enable Human Dismemberment option has you covered, as does the game's signature combat.
Take advantage.
You know how some games come up with some bullshit reason for resetting all your progress back to square zero all over again for the sequel? This sort of doesn't do that. It lets you keep a few tricks from the previous game, like the double lightsaber, the double jump, the wall run, BD1's motor. Yeah, true, you still have to learn most of your attack moves over again, but if you didn't, it'd be a bit boring, wouldn't it?
Just one hit. Stand your ground.
Everyone, there are 5 stances in this game and you start with 2 of them, and each stance is designed for a different thing. The single lightsaber is a balanced weapon. It's a decent all-rounder with no particular strengths or weaknesses one way or the other. It's definitely one you can learn the basics of the game with. The double lightsaber is an upgrade Cal carries over from the first game. This is more of a defensive stance. It lacks power, but can bounce entire volleys of blaster fire right back to the shooters. Great if you're tired of being shot at. The dual sabers have been promoted from special move to full combat stance. It's designed for attack. The dual sabers can strike fast, and it allows you to interrupt your attack moves with a block. Nice and flexible against tricksy enemies. The blaster stance, very weirdly for a Jedi game at any rate, pairs the single saber with a powerful blaster pistol. The massively increased range this gives you comes at the expense of attack power, and the only way to recharge the pistol is by attacking with the saber. So you can't just shoot everything in sight. But it is an unusual style that can surprise the enemy. And finally, the crossguard saber. The blade becomes longer and, somehow for an energy weapon, heavier. I'm not quite sure of the physics of how this works, but it's significantly slower, which may leave you vulnerable, but with superior attack and defense, it does reward careful and thoughtful fighters. Now for the bad news. You can only have 2 stances equipped at once. To be fair, you will favour some stances over others, I know I did, and there's enough options here to deal with everything the game will throw at you. But it's still kind of annoying not to be able to access all of the options when it's the same lightsaber. It's the same weapon! You even carry the pistol on your belt, irrespective of which stance you have selected. Why can't I just draw it whenever I like? I don't get it. You have a selection of force powers available to you. Push, pull. You also have confuse, causes enemies to temporarily fight for you. Lift and slam become available later on, although I only used them when I had to navigate the environment. The buttons on the pad become a little bit complicated after a while, and I couldn't remember everything I had access to in the moment. You also have Mind Trick, but it only works very rarely, and when the game lets you do it in pre-scripted places. Honestly, at one point, I kind of forgot this was a thing.
I already showed you my authorization.
You already showed me your authorization. Sir? TK-783 to base command. Lower the shield. What? Wait, what?
Buddy. Thanks, bud.
From command. Remain on high alert. Step forward for identification. What you doing?
Deflecting attack. You will regret that. Damage initiated.
I don't know if anyone's ever asked this question before, but it struck me before in these kind of games. Why is the Star Wars universe so tall? The sheer number of high places in this universe is ridiculous. Okay, maybe some planets have that kind of terrain, but why does every planet and every starship and every star base, why do they always have bottomless drops everywhere? You move 5 paces and there's a massive hole in the ground that drops down to I don't even know where. Why no handrails in these places? Not so much as a warning sign. Danger, deadly drop beyond this point. Would it kill them? Well, it'd probably do the opposite, let's be honest. It's the complete reverse of health and safety gone mad. One cleaning droid spills a puddle of water in the wrong place, you're going to have a hell of a lot of bodies at the bottom of the nearest lift shaft.
I'm with you, Cal.
Another one down.
He's trying to get away! Come on! We can't lose to this has-been!
You okay?
got such a warm welcome.
I guess knocking isn't an option.
We'll find our own way. I guess the lift doesn't work from here.
It's an RPG style game, so of course there are upgrade trees governing stances, force powers and survival skills, and they all require skill points to unlock them. You earn XP for defeating enemies in battle, earn enough XP and you bank a skill point. Worth mentioning though that in deference to the fact that this is a Souls style game, you lose all your XP when you die. But in deference to the fact that this isn't a particularly hard Souls game, you get to keep any skill points you've already banked. Spend skill points at campfires, I mean meditation spots, scattered very liberally throughout the areas. Resting at a meditation spot still restores health and healing, but respawns enemies. So it's not all easier. There is the very rare ambush. Creatures hiding in bushes, guards hiding round corners, but the game doesn't spam you with surprises, which means that they can actually take you by surprise when they happen. Or make you feel like a smart ass when you spot it. As with its predecessor, the storytelling and characters are excellent. True, the graphics are great, the motion capture is awesome, but the actual writing and performances, which is what matters in my opinion, they are top notch.
How we looking, BD? Oh. Whatever it is, I'll have to wait until we get someplace safe.
No traffic. Looks like this portal's under maintenance.
As soon as we breach the surface, jump to light speed.
Gotta take the risk. We've already overstayed our welcome. We got company.
On my mark, hit the brakes. We'll drop behind him.
Copy that, Bravo.
The maps are stuffed full of collectibles hidden in all sorts of hidey holes all throughout the maps. Things like outfits and other visual customization options for Cal. You've got different materials and colours for the lightsabers and BD1. Although weirdly I noticed that the Mantis is no longer customizable. Boo. They really did dial up the level of customization on the lightsaber though. There are whole ranges of coloured materials and styles of components. You can even dictate the amount of polish on each component and the overall wear and tear on the saber. Oh, and Cal's no longer stuck wearing ponchos all the time, thank Christ. I don't have a thing against ponchos, but seriously, something else would have been nice, and we have it now. His outfits have more variety to them, as does his hair and facial hair. Although I must admit to being a bit boring here, I kept his face looking normal throughout the whole game. There are other items that serve as tradables at the shops, which unlock even more collectibles, as if there aren't enough. You can pick up the odd side quest, talk to people in the canteen, and even do some rooftop gardening.
Hope it does well over there.
But here's my problem with all that. You only ever earn cosmetics. I mean, you can earn, like, health and force upgrades as well, but you normally have to kick the crap out of a legendary creature first.
Now I know what killed those prospectors. Wait till Grease hears about this. Right on his doorstep. Good job.
You know, assuming it doesn't kick the crap out of you first. But all the meaningful upgrades, like the lightsaber stances, the force powers, and the traversal upgrades, which lets you explore more of each map, all of those meaningful enhancements are earned through story progression anyway. And to be honest, the game portrays the canteen as if it's your base of operations. I never felt any need to go back there. You can, and there's stuff to do there, but there's no need. You can safely ignore it. As I mentioned, there's a rooftop garden. Also, there's a DJ, a fish tank, and a battle simulator. I can't fault them for trying to be creative.
Enemy! Solid copy. Powerful. I think I can catch him. I got you. You, get up here. Shooting at the target. Stop this aggressor. A solid hit.
I don't know if it's the enemy design, or the fact that I played the previous game, but this one feels easier. It might be the enemies who don't fight quite as hard as they did before. It's starting the game with quite a few enhancements certainly levels the playing field right away. It might also be helped by the fact that I've played the previous game and I'm already familiar with beating Imperials over the head with the galaxy's deadliest glow stick. I didn't even fight as many ATSTs as before. I don't think. I only fought 2 in this game and in different places, so only one at a time. I distinctly remember battling 2 of them when coming out of the ice cave in the first game. You can engage more of them if you track them down in the desert, but that's a decision you have to make and you're not forced into it. Mind you, in the first game, you were mostly facing Imperial stormtroopers the whole time. In this game, I felt like I was fighting more raiders and creatures this time round.
I need help.
I will always hate unblockable attacks in video games. I get why they're there. I still hate them. And some enemies hurl unblockables like they're regular attacks. So much so, I suspect this Toad mini-boss is impossible. Okay, someone somewhere somehow probably beat it in 3 seconds, but I can barely land a single hit on him. If you're not on your toes, they'll be up your ass.
Toss it! Hey, BD? Buddy, help! Buddy!
Beat the game and it unlocks New Game Plus. You keep all your stances and your skill points. You get some new perks which make the same combat encounters harder.
Can't stop it. How? We can catch it. Our company will not quit. Don't let him get you. Catch him. Don't stop pressuring him. Watch my back. You and him. I actually got it. We'll take you down.
And a couple of new lightsaber colours.
Let's take a look.
I know, you're supposed to be the good guy. But I really hated the way that the first game didn't have a red lightsaber in it. Now there is one. Might just be my imagination, but I think there are fewer locations in this game. Might be my imagination. But the locations are quite expansive. It's going to take you a while to find everything, especially with all the cubby holes, a lot of which you can't get into unless you've found that one little traversal option that lets you get there, you know. So you're definitely not going to be stuck for things to do. And the side missions, again, add that little something. And then there's New Game Plus, of course, with the red lightsaber. So, you know, what's not to like about it? Anyway, that'll do for this video. What did you think? Leave a like or dislike down below. What did you think of Jedi Survivor? Or haven't you played it yet for some weird reason, you weirdo? Leave a comment down below what you thought. And for those of you who can't get enough of my dulcet tones, you can always subscribe, ring the bell for notification, because that's a separate thing. Or if you want to inflict my irritating persona on someone else, you can always share instead. See you next time.